Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Burns.
Yeah, Nancy Burns here.
And we're from Future Theater. And you know what we like to listen to?
Bang.
Radio on Sunday nights at 9 p.m.
At 9 p.m.?
What
Eastern.
network?
Oh, the best network on the whole entire internet. Inception Radio Network.
Radio host for Pang Radio, Mike Lucas.
Welcome everybody to Pang Radio. Tonight is Sunday, June 7th, 2015. Got a hell of a good show tonight. I'm here with my co-host Ken Storch and Mr. Ken. We are going to welcome Sean Gautreux tonight and talking about his research in UFOs and cloaking UFOs in storms, a little bit of HARP. We're going to go in every direction, but welcome to the show, Ken.
Hey, I think our listeners are going to find this show really fascinating. I know I am. I'm looking forward to it. So it should be a lot of fun, entertaining, and educational.
Yep, very cool. Well, hold on a sec. Let me turn off my iPhone. That probably just did a ding-ding on the air. Okay.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, there we go. There's many ways to listen to Inception Radio Network. You can listen to us via our apps on Android and the Apple iTunes Store. Download us on the Amazon Store. Our app is available also. You can listen to us on very many other platforms. You can listen to us on, boy, my mind's slipping. But we have our call-in number too. There's many ways to listen. You know, just go in the App Store, search Inception Radio Network. You'll find us, and it's a great platform if you're out in the yard you're doing your yard work, doing homework. Just throw us on. It's pretty cool stuff. And I'd like to do one shout out to our new show tonight. Professor Eric Williams is welcome to the network tonight. He did his show called Psychology's Outer Limits. So he's going to get deep into the psychology of human beings and add a touch of paranormal on occasion. So that's going to be a great addition to the network. So, Ken, you got any shout-outs there?
Well, I do. George and Patty, hi. I want to say hello to Doug and Christy, Doug and Kathy, and Doug and Cindy. Oh, man, I'm never going to keep those straight, but I want to have a shout-out to all three of those couples, and also to the Oklahoma UFO Paranormal Team. And I just want to remind our listeners that in August, we're going to be putting on a seminar going to explore some of the evidence and some of the cases that we have investigated. I think people are going to find it extremely interesting.
Wow, there you go. That's awesome. We got some shout-outs, too. We got Kevin in North Mankato, Minnesota, a little hometown upper Midwest friend there. And we got Doug and Christy Schultz, of course, 155 miles downwind from Ken Storch, they said.
Yeah, it's a good thing they're downwind probably too.
Oh, that's great. So that's good. But the network is growing. We're welcoming another new show called Supernatural Girls. They're going to be on Wednesdays, I believe, at 7 p.m. Eastern. So Wednesday's show slot is going to actually be full, very full, 3 shows in a row. So a lot of new shows coming, Ken. I mean, the network it's showing a lot of interest from other shows. I mean, it's good stuff.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and we have a bunch of good listeners too. They come up with good show ideas, and I want to have a special thanks out to Lorna and La Pig up there. She comes up with some great guests and great ideas. Thanks, Lorna.
Yep, and Lorna and Adrian Lee will be on at the end of the month on the 28th, talking about the Minnesota Paracon, which I'm actually going to hit the second half of this, and I'll be able to see Kevin Randall speak and a few others, but I'll get to meet Lorna in person. I've chatted with her for a few years here, but it'd be nice to see, faces with voices and emails instead of, this electronic communication all the time.
Right, exactly. And you'll enjoy Lorna. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, Lorna's been a long member of MUFON. You know, they have their own paranormal group going, but yeah, it's good stuff. And they have a lot of good Minnesota cases over there. Minnesota, I believe, has one of the longest. They've been meeting longer than any other state in MUFON, so I think it's a consistent 40 years they've had meetings every week. Well, mostly every week.
And that part of the country seems to be a hotbed over the years of flying saucer sightings and stuff.
Yeah, the only thing that gets us up north, Ken, is that old man winter, you know, where we're indoors. So the reports go way down. It's easier to manage the caseloads in MUFON when the winter's here. But we got 3 today already in Wisconsin, and it's like, oh boy, we're getting backed up. But we got a new investigator. My friend Kevin Malik, he's the founder of the Northern Wisconsin Paranormal Society. So he's a new member of MUFON. So we're up to 3 investigators now. Wow.
Caseload. Handle the caseload.
Yeah, the caseload's really big right now, so we're getting backlogged, but we'll get through it. Well, tonight, Sean Gautreux, I'm going to tell everybody Sean's personal history here. He was born and raised in New Orleans before returning to New Orleans in 2004. He lived in Baton Rouge, Brooklyn, and New Jersey City. He started realizing that there was something going up above in the skies in the summer of 2011 after noticing strange weather patterns. So this is going to be a little bit weather pattern related too tonight. He began recording videos, what he saw first of uncloaked craft on August 8, 2011. On June 2nd, 2012, he released his first of his 9-part series. Then he teamed up with many others around the world documenting this phenomena. So it sounds more or less that Sean has a team of individuals, you know, working together, which is great. You know, more eyes in the sky, you know, will work, Ken, definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
The more people that you have scanning the sky, the more chances, we're going to get as far as reports and more information. Absolutely. That's why you got to keep an eye to the sky, folks.
Yeah, exactly. The next 10 parts came soon after. The series is now over 6 hours long. It's taken over 15,000 photos and hundreds of hours of video, and some not even reviewed yet. He's done about 8 radio interviews on Roxy Lopez, Steve Traversty, Dave Schrader, Renee Barnett, our very own Night Vision Radio, and John B. Wells. His YouTube channel has over 3,400 subscribers. I'm sure he'd love 34,000, and over 400,000 total views. He's also scheduled to be working on an upcoming documentary, Ribbons in the Sky, with Jose Escamilla, probably something to do with chemtrails. And they live in the skies. So welcome, Sean, to the show. We're happy to have you tonight.
Thank you all so much. It's good to be here.
It's awesome to have you. I have heard your work on Renee Barnett's show on Night Vision Radio. That's why I first heard you, and I'm like, I got to have this guy on my show. It's quite interesting. Now, Sean, is there a point in your life when you first got the interest in UFOs? Was there something? Was this in the childhood it happened, or had any sightings yourself?
Not really. This is pretty new to me. I've been into UFOs and that. I used to watch all those shows in the 80s and 90s that would come on, Unsolved Mysteries and In Search Of and stuff like that. And that's really where my interest was for many years. And the only things I'd really seen up to that point, in '93 on a road trip from New Orleans to South Carolina, I was driving with a friend of mine. We were going to his brother's bachelor party. And we saw like an orange fireball shoot down the middle of the highway. That lasted about 2 seconds, and that was the end of that. I've seen an entity, but that's probably completely unrelated, in about '91. But, I wasn't really into it. Not as much as I am now. But, it started about 4 years ago. A little over, as a matter of fact. We're into June now. And it was noticing weather patterns. And being a New Orleanian, we pay attention to the weather because a lot of weird stuff happens down here. And, one being Hurricane Katrina. I went through that. I was also one of the people who witnessed 9/11 because when I lived in Jersey City, I rented a condo for the view of the Trade Center and everything else. But this stuff takes the cake. This is way beyond anything I could have imagined. It's just completely wild. And hopefully a lot of your listeners have heard some of this, It seems that a lot of people have seen things up there that they've questioned, but never knew where to turn or where to find answers. And I put it this way: if I were to take a poll of people who, let's say, believe in UFOs, you'd get so many show of hands, and people who have actually seen a UFO, I think you'd get a certain amount of hands. But in terms of this strange stuff in the clouds, I think a lot of people have seen this, and as I said, just didn't know where to go. And I get messages on my YouTube channel all the time saying, "Thanks for putting this out there. My family thought it was crazy. I've been seeing this stuff for a while." And so yeah, there's an interest out there, but the information is fairly new, and thank God it's finally coming out. And it's shows like this are bringing it to the forefront. So yeah, thanks again.
Hey, Sean, these objects, these craft that you're seeing, are they of a specific shape?
There's several shapes. The first one that I saw, which y'all had mentioned in the bio, that was a black diamond shape, and that is one of the typical shapes. The most typical are the triangular shaped ones. There are some elongated ones. There's one that looks like a tube, kind of like a submarine in a way, with an engine on the back. And one of the newest ones that I've been able to pick out are the pyramid ones. There are pyramidal craft up there as well. That's the general cloud craft. There are spherical ones like that. There's small ones that I've captured as well. But for the most part, it's the triangular ones that I pick up on.
You said the triangular ones are the most difficult. Why?
The most typical.
I'm sorry, you broke up. What'd you say?
The most typical?
Oh, most typical. Okay.
Typical, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you.
That's okay. Yeah, those prize at least, I'd say at least 50% of what's up there. These triangular craft.
How do you go? You associate them with cloud? Is there a specific cloud formation or a certain type of cloud that seems to be the common thread, or is there not? Just whenever there's clouds in the sky.
There is, and it's something that I've really only stated in the last few months or so, and it's just been having a look at these things for years and years and years, and going through the videos, and I would say that the lowest ones that come in, these cumulus clouds, are all generated by triangles. They all are, and it's pretty mind blowing. It's not something that I thought I would have come across in the beginning, but it really seems to be the case. And even today, I could have stood outside in my backyard and photographed these things all day long, because there they were popping out of the clouds left and right. But again, I've got so many pictures and so much info. My hard drive is filling up. I don't have the time to do it. So I've put out as much as I can, really, at this point. And hopefully, one day I'll be able to take the time off and go back and make some more videos and explain some other things. But right now, after the series is probably more like 8 hours now, I've lost count. I lost count of the amount of photographs. It's probably up towards about 20,000 right now. And so that means I've got thousands of photographs of these things. And so that's where I am right now with it. But my favorite thing to do now is lightning, I guess. I will take the time and photograph lightning. So there's some really interesting things coming out of that as well.
Now, Sean, with the number of cloaked objects in the sky, do you think the government is, of course the government knows they're up there. Do you think they know they're up there and they're not telling us?
Absolutely. Yeah. They know all about it. And I think they have for quite a long time. And initially, when I started picking these things out, I'd pick out one day and another one 2 days later, and it was a matter of fine-tuning your eyes, a friend of mine put it that way, to really hone in on what to look for. So today, I could have gone out and photographed, 50 of them. But in the beginning, especially the first time I saw one partially uncloaked, it was about half in and half out, I was thinking military, and I thought military for a long time. One of the reasons being is that it's easier to accept that I'm looking at a cloaked military craft than a cloaked ET craft. And as I said, I really haven't been into the whole UFO thing of my life, but it got me thinking, all right. But it was the number of craft, especially nowadays, that I pick up on, that I can pretty soundly say that there's thousands, if not millions of them up there currently. And could the American government produce that amount of craft? Maybe so, but maybe not. So I've kind of shifted my opinions over the years. So I've gone from strictly military to it's probably actually both military, ET, interdimensional, a mix of those.
Sean, you describe a very busy airspace. I'm envisioning, I've never seen one, uncloaked or whatever. I'm envisioning that you said there's hundreds, if not thousands, of these craft coming and going constantly?
If not millions.
If not millions.
Because if I can stand out in my backyard, this little slice of the sky, and pick out 10 at one time, you just multiply that across the globe, and there's a whole bunch more. So, the numbers have really kind of freaked me out. And it was really connecting with people around the world who do this as well. Because I thought it was initially I thought it was, let's say, the weather machine, if we've heard that term. And I was like, well, I guess this is some kind of device to thwart hurricanes. And they're using it over New Orleans. And, we haven't had much hurricane activity since Katrina, really. And that was, 2005.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I thought initially. But, again, there's so many of them. It's one or the other, or it's both. But, there's a whole bunch. And,
well, I guess my question to you, do you have a opinion as to why they're cloaking is to hide it from us? Are they hiding from each other? Okay, I mean, I just picture all these ships zooming back and forth up in our atmosphere, and if they're cloaked, they're hiding from us. I guess I'm looking.
Yeah. If they are ET, if they are interdimensional, we are picking up hints of them, and it's probably up in the range of the temperature range when it comes to the visual spectrum. We, as humans, can only see from about 360 nanometers to about 700 nanometers in the full spectrum. Anything below that is UV. And then the next range up from about 700 up, you start getting into the near infrared and then the true infrared heat spectrum. I don't have any cameras that can pick up true heat spectrums, but I do have a couple of infrared cameras that are near infrared. And not only have I picked up these triangular craft on there a lot better using that technology, but I've been able to pick up on the skyfish as well. And it's one of the reasons that Jose Escamilla and I have gotten together.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely has picked up on the skyfish.
Right.
In infrared.
Right.
So there's a whole bunch of things going on that we just can't see. And it's using technology to pick it out and getting it on the computer screen and having a look and seeing what's really out there. I think there's a whole universe or other dimensions around us that we're only now really discovering.
Sean, I'm picturing like the Jetsons with ships buzzing all over the sky. So what exactly do you think they're doing up there? Watching us, testing?
Well, possibly. We could be, the ultimate Truman Show. You can look at it that way. The ultimate reality show.
All right.
For their entertainment. But initially when I thought, it was all military, I'm like, this is the ultimate surveillance technique. And I do definitely believe that there are cloaked anti-gravity craft up there that can, survey me or whoever else, and you wouldn't even know it. What you do is just put one of these crafts up there using any of the various cloaking techniques and have a camera on there, and you can survey whatever, and nobody would have a clue. The other option is that they've been here the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
These are the watchers.
Oh,
These are the gods with the little g. These are possibly the Anunnaki who have never gone anywhere the whole time and have just been up there taking care of us, or throwing us a curveball at their leisure. Could very well be. And so really, the people who study this, we're beyond what is up there. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things up there. We're on to who. We're trying to figure out who's putting on the show. And it's really starting to lean to not only, military craft, but possibly interdimensional ET craft as well.
Do you think any of these craft are ours? Do you think you've caught a few of our craft cloaking?
Yes, I do. And I'll tell you why. In the first, I guess it was the fall of 2011, I didn't have a lot of time to do this kind of stuff. I was working on, what I do is I illustrate children's books. And I had 3 books on my plate at one time. And I had to get them all finished at the end of November so they could get printed and shipped and be back in town for Black Friday. So I did a lot of recording at the time. But once those books were up and shipped, I finally had a little extra time to look into, all right, what are the correlations out there? Where can I draw lines from what I'm seeing to information that's already out on the web or elsewhere? And I was able to come across terms for some craft that just happened to line up with my nicknames for the craft. I called one like a wispy bat. There's another that was like a manta shape. Mm-hmm. And I did come across military specifications, nicknames for their vehicles called bats and manta, and another one called gas pipe and stuff like that. But I quickly learned that it's kind of a dead-end road trying to figure that out, because it's always a trick. They're not going to tell you the name. They're going to switch the name. Mm-hmm. And you'll have no idea, and you'll never see it in the secret documents. So I kind of gave up on that route for a while. However, when that was November 2011, December 2011, I do have 3D skills, and I started building what I saw up above. I'd drawn some sketches or whatever, and I said, well, I've got some 3D skills, I might as well build it in 3D. So I started building the smaller craft, and over time I was able to pick up on the larger craft because they're actually harder to find than the smaller craft. The smaller craft have a really tight footprint, and it's easy to see. The big ones are so big that, they take up a good portion of the sky, and I used to experiment putting on your HD glasses to try to pick them out. But I had 2 general shapes at the time. One was like a shovel-nosed shape craft, kind of triangular but rounded at the front. And there was another one that I picked up on so many times I ended up making a model of that one as well. That wasn't triangular. It was more like a Concorde in a way, or like kind of like the SR-71. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't decide which one I was looking at. Am I looking at both? I've got no idea. But I mentioned August 8th, 2011, when I photographed this one and saw it. I invited over, I decided at the time to have 3 friends that I could divulge to and get their take on it. Was I losing my mind? What's going on? Pretty smart people. So on August 9th, I had 2 of them over. One was in Michigan. She couldn't make it, obviously. And so one of them, we'll call her Nancy. And Nancy's been with me, from the beginning on this. And she was polite enough and kind enough to come over and check out my work. And after 2 hours, she's like, I just don't want to see anymore. But she always kept it in her mind, and I was always trying to bounce things off of her. She lives right near what we call here Belle Chase Naval Air Station. And that is kind of a little-known naval air station about 15 miles south of here. And she had seen some things herself, but one day in particular, she saw something when she was driving by, rising up out of the base and into the clouds. And I tried to have her explain it, and, she didn't have a chance to take a picture. That was fine. And I said, listen, come over tomorrow and have a look at this 3D model that I built, and I want you to see if that's what you saw. So she came over the next day, And I gave her a piece of paper, and I said, draw what you saw. And before I gave her a pen, she took her fingers and she drew like an upside-down V. And I said, well, what's that? She goes, that's the V-shaped beams on the bottom. The last detail I put into the 3D modeling were the two V-shaped beams on the bottom. So I pretty much knew it was a match. I'm like, that's really interesting. So I showed her the model, the 3D model. She says, you're close. It's not 100%. It's probably about 75% there. But, you know, the wings were just a little bit different and so on and so forth. So I was like, you know, thanks, Nancy. That's great info. But really what brought it home was when DARPA released a picture of what they call the Black Swift. And this came out about, I'd say, less than a year ago. I looked at it and I said, that's a pretty good match. I sent it to Nancy and I said, is this what you saw coming out of the base, cloaked and then uncloaked? And she wrote back immediately. She said, as a matter of fact, yeah, that's it.
Nice.
It. So I'm pretty sure that the Black Swift is anti-gravity and cloaked and is in use.
Hey, Sean, when you use the term cloak, does that I'm perceiving that the craft becomes invisible, but yet they're not invisible, right?
Yeah, there's different ways to pick them out. Whether we're talking about the military ones or the ET ones, in photographs, and with regular cameras, they show up slightly darker than the background. So if it's a blue sky and there's one sitting up there, you're just going to pick up just a hint of it. What's great about the infrared technology that I use is that shows up that effect, which I call like a tinted plate effect, where it's just slightly darker. It shows up a lot better in infrared and a lot better when one of the craft is in front of a white cloud. It's much easier to see. So their technology is pretty darn good, but it's not perfect. And there's ways of finding them. And in the beginning, I would wait for, you know, sunsets or get up early in the morning and videotape sunrises, because the light is so strong and there's a lot of contrast and the shadows are just all over the place. So that was my favorite time to capture them. But nowadays, like I was saying today, I can go out and capture them all day long as there's a good blue sky behind it and it's not hazed out and you're looking at these white cumulus clouds coming in. You will start to see them popping out the sides, and people are just not paying attention. It's once you get used to it, it's pretty easy. And that's the other thing. Once you get used to it, there's no going back. You can't unsee it. It's like taking the red pill.
So it sounds like the weather patterns, you know, have to be in a certain order for you to see these.
Yeah, like during the winter here, it was either clear skies or it was completely overcast, and it was, you know, pretty hard to see. It's really a partly cloudy day where you've got space in between the clouds that you can really pick them out.
Hey, Sean, do you think they may be manipulating the weather patterns to fit their pattern, their cloaking devices? Do you think they're influencing the weather?
Yeah, and in fact, I think there's a possibility that what we've been told with the weather is not actually the case, because so many of these seem like they're actually making clouds as opposed to hiding within clouds. I think the military ones hide within the clouds, and I think these other ones are actually making the clouds. That's the way I'm looking at it nowadays. But in the beginning, back to summer 2011, but even before I saw the first one, I realized that the weather wasn't right around here. I mean, the storms that would usually come up in the afternoon, that would come up from the Gulf and move north, and would get, you know, a good shower around 2 p.m. That wasn't happening. And in my immediate area, there was a drought over that summer. But about 15 miles south, all the storms that were coming up would get stopped. It was like an invisible force. And once those storms would hit that invisible line, they would just go from green to dark red and expel all of their energy at one time. And I've got a friend who lives on that line, and she was losing power like almost every day because of the lightning coming down, because of the hail and everything else. That's one of the things that made me look at radar, because, you know, being at one spot here in New Orleans, looking up, I was like, well, there's got to be different ways of looking at this. Maybe I could find them on radar. Maybe that'll tell me something. Maybe I can look at satellite photographs, which is another thing I downloaded, and that really showed me a lot. At the time, it was unbelievable and a little bit too much for me to take in, so I tucked them aside for a while. But in terms of radar, that gave away a lot of things, and that's where HAARP comes in. So there's definite weather control around at least New Orleans and the area around here. And I've been able to pick up on their little HAARP waves and their substations and how they split the storms and aggravate the storms and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, it's going on almost on a daily basis. And I've recorded the radar and put them into videos and got them up online. And it's a matter of seeing it just over and over and over. And, yeah, it's definitely taking place.
Okay, yeah, that's great. You know what? We'll get back into some HAARP here after the break. Thanks, Sean. You're listening to Paying Radio on the Inception Radio Network. We'll be back with Sean Gautreux talking HAARP, UFOs, cloaking, and maybe a little Anunnaki later. So hang in there, everybody. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Joe Mars. I'm inviting you to tune in to Epic Voyages, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday nights, right here on Inception Radio Network. To find out more about Epic and how you can become a member, visit epicvoyagers.com. That's EPICVOYAGERS.com.
Hello, everyone. Lorian Fenton here, host of the California MUFON radio show, asking if you'd like special access to exclusive and amazing information about UFOs, the paranormal, and all things unexplained. If you're nodding yes, then join IRN's Insider Club. As an Insider Club member, you'll get an all-access pass to premier Inception Radio Network content for only $4.99 a month. This includes live UFO and paranormal conferences, live streaming UFO skywatches, exclusive IRN radio and TV productions, and of course, Paying Radio with MJ and Ken Storch. So don't wait any longer. Visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com and click on Member Login to join IRN's Insider Club and get your VIP access today.
Do you have a smartphone? If so, Inception Radio Network is the best app for you. Available on iTunes, Android, Samsung, and most other app stores. Just search Inception Radio Network. With the app you can listen live, check out podcasts of recent and past shows, view our videos, see what shows are coming up, who the guests are, and, via the chat room, send live questions to those guests. You know it makes sense. Check your app store now. Inception Radio Network. I'll see you there.
You didn't forget what's coming up tonight, did you? Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Never miss that interview you were looking forward to or the show on your favorite topic. Follow IRN on Twitter, I_R_N, and get reminders about the evening's live shows as well as fun and important updates throughout the week. That's I_R_N, and never miss a great show again.
Écoutez Pong Radio tous les dimanches à 21h Eastern, uniquement sur Inception Radio Network.
Listeners, this is MJ saying hello and sharing an awesome secret I discovered. It's called DreamNuage.com. Fresh, raw, organic ingredients are used to create all their products. They are made in very small batches to ensure quality and freshness. Handmade in the USA, each product is created with care and with the finest organic ingredients. There are no preservatives, dyes, or chemicals in any product. Stop by Dream Nuage and relax. That's DreamNuage.com. Simple, raw, organic. Welcome back to Paying Radio. Tonight we have on guest Sean Gautreux talking about his UFO research in cloaking. He's finding objects in the sky and cloud, lightning storms. It's great stuff. And I got a few more shout outs here. We have the awesome Dean Regard. He's always listening on the south coast of England near Brighton. He says, Iron Rocks, keep an eye in the sky, guys and girls. There you go, Ken. And we have Marilyn Carlson. She said she's here lurking in the bushes, Ken. So I don't know.
That's frightening.
That is frightening. Yeah. Then we got our friend Craig Peel. He says, absolutely nothing like Iron. Been listening 2 years in Yorkshire, England. Thanks for your time and effort to transmit. So thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
That's great to hear.
Oh, it is. And, of course, on the break, we have some of the best topic discussion, and Ken brought up a great question. I'm going to segue to Ken here to ask Sean a question, a good question he came up with on Rich. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, what we were talking about during the break, and Sean and I got into discussion, is that technology of cloaking is the ultimate form of camouflage, and the military is heavily involved in it. And I was telling Sean that there's a Army military base down here just 100 or so miles south of my location, and they were developing a cloaking shield for tanks and armored vehicles. And so, it's not like, this is beyond the realm of fantasy, the ability to cloak a airship of some sorts, because that's, we saw stealth technology at the first Gulf War. And ultimately, to be able to cloak and stealth at the same time would be a hell of a weapon, okay? And that's where we were going with it. And the question I had for Sean is that I think the military is really a lot more evolved on this technology than I think we realize. What do you think, Sean?
I think the standard answer of, they're at least 40 years ahead of where we think they are is actually true. And like you said, it's the perfect term. It's the ultimate camouflage. Over the years, camouflage was developed. I think the German Fallschirmjäger had the first camouflage clothing to blend in. They painted their planes green on top so you couldn't see them from the air. They painted them silver or white on the bottom so you couldn't see them from below. And that's where where it really started. So I guess the ultimate camouflage was the ultimate goal. It's a pretty good trick. So, like I mentioned over the break, when I was in grad school, I was taking a graphics course, and there were stories that were coming out online about Japanese students that were building these cloaks, and they were like just a piece of cloth, and they could hold it in front of themselves, and it would project what was behind them. And even at that time, I'm thinking, geez, if Japanese students are doing this, what does the military have?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. And then over the last few years, people can look this up. It's easy. Go to YouTube and look up British MOD cloaked tank, and that should bring you to it. And they've actually released it, the information out there. And it's got panels on the side where it can change colors, it can change temperatures, and it can blend into the environment. It can make itself look like a car, which was actually shown, in the video. On top of that, what we didn't talk about on the break was a recent video that came out from so-called insurgents, and I want to say it was Afghanistan, but it could be Iraq. But they took video of a cloaked U.S. soldier who had a cloaked uniform on, and he's running into a tank that came to pick him up. And you can only see him at the very end when he gets in front of the tank, and you can see the outline, the silhouettes of a figure climbing in, the top turret. Pretty interesting.
Hey, it is interesting, and I just want to point to something. I was making a note here in my journal, if you will, that back in the 50s and 60s, and MJ, I think you're aware of this, that there were a number of investigations that had been done by MUFON. And it was one of the aspects of it was that only certain people in a crowd of, let's say there's 20 people, maybe only 2 or 3 were able to see the ship.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, and one of the theories was put forward was that if you got a view, let's say on the side view of it, you might be able to pick out some lines like you said. And then your eye would train and you would see the ship, whereas other people would look at it and they would be invisible to them. So it makes sense. You know that.
Yeah. On top of that, I wanted to mention an article that came out about 2 months ago, and it talked about 25% of the people have what they call a fourth cone in their eye, and they're able to pick up greater shades of colors and tones and hues than others can. And it just goes basically back down to an extra cone. So I did the test, and I could see all 35 shades that were displayed.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't have that, but my eye picks up, especially on my peripheral vision, picks up movement. I see stuff that a lot of people wouldn't see out of their peripheral vision, because for some reason my eye picks up, movement. My daughter says that's the hunter in me. I don't know. Okay? But I've known that for all my life, that I see things out of the corner of my eye. I don't think I have that cone, but that's just a characteristic of the vision. So I could see that, sure.
Yeah, not all of us have the same kind of vision. I've got a good friend of mine who's colorblind only in the reds and the greens. And then there's other people that, are completely colorblind. So, we didn't all get dealt the same card when it came to vision. And I think that may have something to do with it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I would agree 100% with that. I think, that there are certain... It's like, I don't think I have ESP, but I do have a little voice on my shoulder. Now, I've been told that that's, equivalent. I don't know. But I listen to that little voice every once in a while when he starts to chatter. And but I do believe there are people out there that are very sensitive in certain areas, and ESP could very well be one of them. As well with being able to see those shapes, having that type of eyesight.
Yeah, it's probably the reason I'm an artist is because I've been gifted in terms of sight and being able to recognize patterns and repetition and things like that. And so far, I'm a very creative person, and I can create, but I can also decreate. I can break things down visually. That's what I'm trained in. That's what I do. So that's really helped out a lot, and I think that's why I've kind of been able to, in a way, reverse engineer the way these things move, is by watching so much in videos over the years and say, okay, this one's going here, this one's popping off here, and this is how they operate. So,
good.
Yeah, there's probably something to that.
Good segue. I was going to get into, Sean, what type of propulsion systems do they use or operate, and do you ever hear these in the sky? And do they give off any type of sound like a plane or a jet?
Yeah, sometimes. In the first year, I'd come out early in the morning before sunrise, and I had heard some things in the sky that sounded like fans, like high-pitched fans.
Mm-hmm.
But that only happened twice. But over the last 2 years, I'd say, when I know there's a big boy up above, sometimes you'll hear what sounds like a jet rumble. And if you had a jet going over 30,000 feet, you'd hear, for 30 seconds or so. But this lasts 15 minutes, half an hour.
Wow. And
the only thing above is just, a big old cloud, in quotes. The other thing I've heard, and I don't know if this is connected or not, but there's trumpet sounds that people have recorded over the last years coming from the sky. I have not heard that, but I have heard the scraping sounds. And I know Linda Moulton Howe talks about this as well.
Right.
And I heard it once, and I thought, well, that's got to be construction around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Even though it seems like it's coming from the sky.
Right. It sounds like a twisting metal, really loud. Yeah. Like a bending metal. Yeah.
And I had heard her description of it, and my description is very close to hers in that it sounds like if you were to load up a 5-gallon plastic bucket full of sand or something heavy and then drag it across the concrete intermittently. Right. That's what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely coming from up above. And I've heard that 3 times now. So that's what I've heard in terms of sound, but I haven't been able to capture it with any of the cameras that I've got.
Propulsion systems, too. So how do you think these craft are ran? What do they run on?
I really don't know.
Okay.
The only thing I could think of.
To listen to the rest of this interview, please go to inceptionradionetwork.com and register for the Insiders Club. What is the Insiders Club? The Insiders Club is our premium content, what you've just listened to. Now, what you've just listened to is a preview of that premium content. The Insiders Club is how we pay the bills. It's how you support IRN. You join forces with IRN to get the truth out there. Now, a lot of our content is free. I mean, most of our content is free. All of our live shows are free. If you go to our archives, the vast majority of our archives are for free. But to pay the bills, to help make sure this network stays alive, stays viable, we offer those who really love our radio station, our network, and our shows an ability to support our network and become a part of IRN. Actually join forces in helping us get the truth out there. Now, how do you do this again? You go to inceptionradionetwork.com and you subscribe for the Insiders Club, and you'll have access to all of our archives, including this show, the rest of the show. A faster way of getting there, go to the description below this video and click on the link. And like I said, you'll be joining forces with IRN. You'll have availability of all of our content, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Lorian Fenton here, host of the California MUFON radio show, asking if you'd like special access to exclusive and amazing information about UFOs, the paranormal, and all things unexplained. If you're nodding yes, then join IRN's Insider Club. As an Insider Club member, you'll get an all-access pass to premier Inception Radio Network content for only $4.99 a month. This includes live UFO and paranormal conferences, live streaming UFO skywatches, exclusive IRN radio and TV productions, and of course, paying radio with MJ and Ken Storch. So don't wait any longer. Visit inceptionradionetwork.com and click on Member Login to join IRN's Insider Club and get your VIP access today.
To listen to the rest of this interview, please go to inceptionradionetwork.com and register for the Insiders Club. What is the Insiders Club? The Insiders Club is our premium content, what you've just listened to. Now, what you've just listened to is a preview of that premium content. The Insiders Club is how we pay the bills. It's how you support IRN. You join forces with IRN to get the truth out there. Now, a lot of our content is free. I mean, most of our content is free. All of our live shows are free. If you go to our archives, the vast majority of our archives are for free. But to pay the bills, to help make sure this network stays alive, stays viable, we offer those who really love our radio station, our network, and our shows an ability to support our network and become a part of IRN. Actually join forces in helping us get the truth out there. Now, how do you do this again? You go to inceptionradionetwork.com and you subscribe for the Insiders Club, and you'll have access to all of our archives, including this show, the rest of the show. A faster way of getting there, go to the description below this video and click on the link. And like I said, you'll be joining forces with IRN. You'll have availability of all of our content, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Lorian Fenton here, host of the California MUFON radio show, asking if you'd like special access to exclusive and amazing information about UFOs, the paranormal, and all things unexplained. If you're nodding yes, then join IRN's Insider Club. As an Insider Club member, you'll get an all-access pass to premier Inception Radio Network content for only $4.99 a month. This includes live UFO and paranormal conferences, live streaming UFO sky watches, exclusive IRN radio and TV productions, and of course, paying radio with MJ and Ken Storch. So don't wait any longer. Visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com and click on Member Login to join IRN's Insider Club and get your VIP access today.
To listen to the rest of this interview, please go to InceptionRadioNetwork.com and register for the Insiders Club. What is the Insiders Club? The Insiders Club is our premium content, what you've just listened to. Now, what you've just listened to is a preview of that premium content. The Insiders Club is how we pay the bills. It's how you support IRN. You join forces with IRN to get the truth out there. Now, a lot of our content is free. I mean, most of our content is free. All of our live shows are free. If you go to our archives, the vast majority of our archives are for free. But to pay the bills, to help make sure this network stays alive, stays viable, we offer those who really love our radio station, our network, and our shows an ability to support our network and become a part of IRN. Actually join forces in helping us get the truth out there. Now, how do you do this again? You go to InceptionRadioNetwork.com and you subscribe for the Insiders Club, and you'll have access to all of our archives, including this show, the rest of the show. A faster way of getting there, go to the description below this video and click on the link. And like I said, you'll be joining forces with IRN. You'll have availability of all of our content, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Lorian Fenton here, host of the California MUFON radio show, asking if you'd like special access to exclusive and amazing information about UFOs, the paranormal, and all things unexplained. If you're nodding yes, then join IRN's Insider Club. As an Insider Club member, you'll get an all-access pass to premier Inception Radio Network content for only $4.99 a month. This includes live UFO and paranormal conferences, live streaming UFO sky watches, exclusive IRN radio and TV productions, and of course, paying radio with MJ and Ken Storch. So don't wait any longer. Visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com and click on Member Login to join IRN's Insider Club and get your VIP access today.